Previously on Wizard's Ways in Neverwinter Nights 2. After clearing the abandoned camp of surplus of gold, loot and spell imps, Eleni, an elven druid, emerges from her shadows in our time of need. Though we question her stalking methods, we nonetheless accept her aid, and with her guidance through the long-forgotten forests, we arrive at Highcliff. However, our arrival marks only the beginning of our troubles. The quaint village is besieged by lizard folk. Those paths of destruction leave nothing untouched. The party is left with no other choice but to scout the area for clues, hoping to find a scaly creature's hidden lair and put an end to the cold-blooded reign of terror. Armed with fire, steel, and helpful locals, the handsome and charismatic wizard strikes a bargain with lizard folk that they cannot refuse. But in doing so, he uncovers yet another foul plot, orchestrated by the mysterious and ever-elusive Black Carriers. With an easy peace forged between the humans and the lizard folk, the party departs as celebrated heroes, sailing towards their next destination, the city of Neverwinter. What awaits them behind the city walls? Will the mystery of shards be revealed and their purpose made clear? Or will be drawn to a wild goose chase through a story arc that feels more like a filler? Probably the latter, but you will know for certain on the streets of Neverwinter Nights 2.
So this is Neverwinter? Suppose it's passable for a city built by humans. Can't say I care for it though. You want a proper city, you build down, not up.
This place feels unnatural. The wood and stone, it's as if they've been silenced.
I wish you'd both be silent. The entire trip was just one long whine from the two of you.
Oh, me stomach feels funny. This boat rocks like a baby's cradle.
This water is so unnatural and deep, not like the swamp of dead people I grew up in.
Not that I've got great memories of this place, but it's home. So, where are we going first?
Let's first get some proper answers. The town should be close.
Well now, what can I do for you? Bit of venom for the belly, perhaps? Or maybe a tankard or two to shave the edge off your day?
I'm looking for a guy named Duncan. Do you happen to know him?
You mean old Duncan? Oh, well now, if you're looking to collect on some debt, I'll tell you that he's a drunk, and he hasn't got 2 coppers to his name.
His old pal Tegan sent his regards, along with me, with questions that need answers.
Digging, eh? So the time's come, has it? I can probably guess why you're here, but why don't you go ahead and tell me anyway?
He mentioned you have a second shot. He also said you could tell me what's the deal with those damned shots.
Trace of an enchantment on it is what that eel sand said, but nothing of importance. Probably residue from demon's fire, or maybe wizard magic.
Demon's fire? Sounds important to me.
And that, Sal, is why you are cleaning tables and I own this place. Those shards were magic, yes, a trace, but again, it was sand. And he's a fool! Here. I've always kept it close for some reason. Didn't want to leave it out of my sight. Seemed unremarkable. But I find that sometimes time will tell. Had Sand examine it a long time ago, but he turned up nothing.
Look, I don't care what happened back then. Because now they are brimming with magic. I'm not a specialist on these sorts of things. But maybe, just maybe, if I combine these two, we'll get different result.
Well, it's worth a shot. But don't pay him any coin in advance, that's all I'll say. In fact, that viper would be best off.
Ah, it seems I've arrived just in time to deflect the usual barrage of slander from the local innkeeper.
Sand.
Yes, it is good to see you're still sober enough to recognize me, Duncan, past the stale beer, vinegar, faint sweat, failed aspirations, unwashed tunic, I thought perhaps you had already had one tankard too many for the day, but...
Why, your guest here has the smell of a harbourman about them. Faint, but there.
I thought Duncan was keeping company too good for him. Now I see I was right. Duncan, you could learn a few things from your guest.
Still passing off those 2 copper fairweather charms to the locals, Sand?
You have no appreciation for my talents, and after all I've done for you. To think you could survive a fortnight without my ale purgative. Why, you would be buried in the tombs with the rest of the Neverwinter traitors. A betrayer of barkeepers everywhere. But enough about you and your adventurous exploits on the tavern floor. I heard my name mentioned, and oddly enough, almost in a tone that suggested I could help.
This here's Kin.
I'm not really seeing the family resemblance.
And we need your help concerning the shard. Both of them.
Shard? That chunk of silver you showed me so long ago? I do hope you're not going to try to pawn it to me again. I am no longer interested. Besides, didn't your uncle or cousin or brother or whatever make off with the other shard? I thought you only had one now.
It found its way back, so to speak. We need you to look at both of them again. Properly this time.
Oh, very well. Give them here and let me see what my keen arcane senses can determine.
Gorak, vous moquez.
Well, it seems to have some resentment to being scryed. That is quite different than last time. Are you sure these are the same shards? The power in them? Why, it's definitely stronger than last time. Much stronger.
Oh, so now they're magical. I'm not paying you for 2 failed divinations, you charlatan.
It's not a matter of divination, you one-tankard drunk. There is something about these shards. Without knowing their history, even my considerable talents cannot unlock their mysteries.
If none of you can help me, then I need someone who can. If there is one.
You could try and speak to Aldenon, but I don't think you'd have much luck reaching him. The Black Lake district is closed down. The watch has it locked tight. No one going in or out, no messages in or out, even for the nobles that used to live there. Quite cryptic, really.
I heard about that. Lord Dalrin was killed, wasn't he? I've heard rumors, but no official word of what happened.
As have I. Not only are the Watch not talking about it, but they even called in the Cloak Tower mages to investigate, which means sorcery or demons were at work.
Demons? Closest I've ever come to demons is Dagon's tales about the battles down south near West Harbor, when there was that trouble with the King of Shadows.
Who?
Some sorcerer, I believe, had a number of demons and shadows at his beck and call. Not many tales left about that period of Neverwinter history, oddly enough.
But you say this Aldenon might know more, Sand?
Well, if you're not a member of the Watch, or know a secret route into Black Lake, then you're out of luck. So it seems like you have no choice but to let me examine the shards at my leisure. I'll need to hold on to them, of course.
Wait, Watch or secret route? Not bad ideas. Either way, the coin lands.
Well, I guess we don't have any other choice in the matter. Either we join a Neverwinter Watch, or delve into a criminal underbelly of Neverwinter, in hopes that with sufficient influence with either of them, we can gain our passage into a Black Lake district. Although the prospect of two different story arcs sound intriguing, reality is rather streamlined, without going balls deep into spoiler territory. Let's just say that in the hypothetical first instance, we would have been protecting the merchant from a group of a very sophisticated gentlemen. In the second instance, we are those gentlemen. Regardless of a choice, Duncan will allow us to stay at his tavern indefinitely, along with any companions we meet on our adventures. As a bonus, we even get an access to a room full of crafting stations, though for now we have no real use for them. Alright then, into the streets we go. In the oddly spacious alley, we meet up with a criminal authority in these parts of town, with a man named Caleb. Like any well-respected thug in fantasy ghetto, he is quick to make unwise decisions. Fortunately for him, his brain starts functioning before I have to use my diplomacy skills. But before he tells us anything regarding the secret passage, he tests us with an assignment. The job is simple. Go to a pawn shop, find a merchant who's refusing to pay up, and get the money, by any means necessary. Well, nothing like a good old racket of weak and innocent for a quick road to nobility. Inside the shop, we don't find Hagen right away, but instead find his daughter, with whom the conversation is rather quickly hits with a dead end. That is, until the man himself enters the room. Despite being a stubborn old man, a few well-placed words made him surprisingly cooperative, and he hands over the money without resistance. Damn, the last time I tried that, I was chased out with pitchforks and torches for a poorly made joke about Seth. We return, but of course, ripping off the old man's salary isn't enough to get us into a district right away. But gold is still gold, and I certainly won't say no to that.
Stop right there, criminal scum! You're under arrest!
Oh. Nothing is that simple, huh?
Give up while you still can!
Pay the fine! Stop!
I suppose there wasn't any other way around it. But anyway, how about a trade? I've dirtied my hands for you and got you out of sticky situation. It's only fair that we skip several steps in building trust between us. How does it sound? A pass into a Black Lake in exchange for a lifetime of drinks at a tavern.
I don't have one.
What?
I told you from the start, I can't get you into a Black Lake. I'm not in charge, Moira is. She might be able to help you with your problem, but I need to lay low for a while. And trust me, Moira won't like this. So, here's a proposal. Talk to her, explain that this whole mess isn't on me, and she might just help you out. Here, I'll mark the location on the map.
Wait a second.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate it.
On our way to a hideout, we are ambushed again. Although at this point, it is less of an ambush and more of your average JRPG experience, which we get enough to level up. Kjalgar and Elni don't gain much aside from improved skills, while Nishka learns an ancient technique of dual-wielding combat meta. We decided to embrace our criminal lifestyle a bit more seriously by taking some lessons in voice acting 101, boosting our diplomacy and bluffing skill to a respectable degree. That would, I hope, reduce the amount of awkward situations that would have otherwise resulted in death. With everything set, we arrive at the hideout and enter. We find Moira in less than ideal mode. Definitely Caleb's fault. With a knife to our throat, we nevertheless ask her about the pass. While understandably doubtful of our capabilities, our work at the docks has not gone unnoticed. And so, she makes us her henchman, tasked with bringing the entire district to its knees. The job is a bit less straightforward this time around. We have to locate the watch guardsmen while they are on a patrol, and either sway them to our side or dispose of them. Simple, right? Well, not exactly. Other gangs has also seen this as an opportunity for quick takeover, and while running errands in the docks, they are likely to become a problem. Oh well, but before I go...
Well, looks like this lock needs some special attention.
Yep, we're done here. Under the cloak of darkness, we bribe 3 patrols of guardsmen with relative ease, convincing them to peacefully join our growing criminal family.
¿Quieres?
Some with money, others with a promise of more riches, and a few with clear demonstration of Her Majesty Moira's reach. During this, we discovered an interesting yet extremely situational bug with a dialogue, which allows us to kill NPCs without provoking retaliation.
Must have been the wind.
We had time to stop a convoy carrying ill-gotten goods that we mark as a tax write-off and kept it for ourselves. The fourth and the final patrol squad is on the other side of docks, near the sunken flagon. But by the time we arrive, we find ourselves in the middle of a standoff between some students having a rather fiery argument.
Ladies, please, there's no call to lose our tempers over this.
Temper? I haven't even gotten warmed up yet.
Being able to keep a rein on your spells is a sign of discipline, Quara.
Wow! Someone give me a tankard! This is going to get good!
What in the nine hells did I do to deserve it? Oh, thank the gods you've arrived. Do something, these ladies are about to start throwing spells outside my establishment.
I won't call it my specialty, but I'll deal with them.
Whatever you do, do it quick! I won't be able to ferry enough water from the harbor to put out
I
a
think some
blaze if
thugs
things
from
get
the
out of
docks
hand.
are here.
Friends of yours, Quara? Sent to bail you out, perhaps?
I don't need anyone's help to turn you into ash.
I'm here to end this nonsense. Go find somewhere else to argue.
This is not your concern. Quara has threatened us for the last time, and we will stand for it no longer.
Yeah, if Quara's so superior to us, then I say let her prove it.
Stop right there. I know exactly where this is going. And if a single spell is cast by either of you, there won't be even a body left to resurrect.
I would not intervene if I were you, else we'll be forced to stop you as well. We are wizards, you know.
Yes, wizards. From the academy. But we don't want any trouble with you. Just Quara.
I made myself clear. Get out of here and leave her alone, or your restraint will be the last thing anyone will remember you for.
Heatha, I don't want to cross any thieves. What if one were to steal my tomes? Or my mother's amulet from my room?
Very well. This isn't worth it. You're fortunate this time, Quara. Next time, you'd better not let us catch you outside the academy walls.
I didn't need your help. Those wizards had it coming.
Did they? You were about to start one hell of a light show over practically nothing.
Those noble-born wannabe mages are just jealous. They don't like the fact that I can summon more power from my thumb than they can with a day's worth of concentration. They're always staring into their tomes and books, trying to categorize magic. It's a waste of time. It just is. And either you understand it or you don't. It's instinct.
Aren't you from the academy yourself?
Well, the thing is, I'm not a part of the academy anymore. I quit. Sort of. After burning down the stable.
Last you should have thought of that before starting a fight outside the flagon, and the damage you caused before they even showed up.
It's the wood you use in the rafters. It sets fire easily. Sorry about that.
Sorry? Oh, lass, I wasn't asking for an apology. You'll be paying me back, you will, for all my lost business, for a tarnished reputation, and for putting me and my kin in danger like that.
What? I'm not working for either of you, ever.
What? Too good for us?
I am. Now get out of my way. I'm not paying for a thing.
No, lass, you will. Or by gods, you'll bring down a fury from me like you've never seen. And not only that, if you don't, you'll be proving those other girls right. I don't think you're willing to admit you don't have discipline, restraint, or a sense of responsibility, like they claim to have. Besides, I doubt you'll be welcome back at the academy.
Actually, I could use your help in my travels. Even if from a sorcerer.
You want me to help you? Fine, but I warn you, you may not be able to handle me. But if you want to take a demon by the horns, then fine.
Now that the core has become our companion, I need to delve a bit deeper with sorcerers. Sorcerers are spellcasting little bitch. Sorcerers are arcane spellcasters that are painfully similar to wizards in terms of solving every problem with various amounts of fire, and sometimes magic. The major difference being that sorcerers don't need to prepare their spells in advance, because they are already proficient in wielding arcane powers. It is reflected in that you can choose what spells you want to prepare, because every spell you know, you can instantly cast at will, though the amount of times you could do it is limited. Unfortunately for you, I feel a bit dumber than usual and want to explain how does the game determine the exact amount of fireballs you can cast, and how does charisma of all things makes you a better combat mage than a wizard ever will. With more than a steady supply of thugs and crude guardsmen established, We gained some trust and a bit of extra coin in the process. But she needed a final gesture, something big, something that would send a clear message to her watcher the dogs. She wanted us to burn down their headquarters. I'm definitely not beating the war criminal allegations anytime soon. While carrying path to a watch headquarters from local scum and academy interns, we are surprised to find a wolf lurking in one of the alleys. With Eleni's in sight, it didn't take long to realize that this wolf was actually a fellow druid. And a really dumb one, I'll tell you that. His mission was to find someone from a circle of a mare to uncover answers about a strange shift in nature's behavior, with Eleni being the only one nearby. He figured that if anyone had answers, it would be her. So he thought it would be a brilliant idea to enter the city shapeshift as a wolf and roam around looking for us, as if that were a normal occurrence. As you can see, the result is self-explanatory, and he then begins to speculate that a certain item in our possession might be the cause of said disturbance. But we stop her, saying we won't make any bold assumptions until we investigated it thoroughly. For some reason, Eleni didn't like that, to which we simply replied, I don't tell every stranger about a potentially dangerous artifact that we don't even understand on a surface level. The druid says nothing, as it's beyond his concern, and then recommends Eleni contacting the elders at a place called Sky Mirror. To a bucket list it goes. Burning down the building couldn't be any easier. There are a free stockpile of boxes located around the building. Our job? Set them up on fire and then promptly leave the area. Couldn't be any simpler than that. Except this is the only quest in the entire game where NPCs are given enough self-awareness to properly process our bullshit. The moment you start the fire, the nearest guard will rush towards us, ready to take us into custody. Failing to talk our way out of trouble would result in quick death. For him, otherwise, we convince the guard to move along, as his barracks are set aflame. Of course, you could try to gaslight the guard into self-doubt, however, the result will be a little predictable. Sir, what are you doing near those boxes? Sorry officer, just passing through. Stay where you are. For acts of arson, disruption of peace, and terror against the watch of Neverwinter, you are now under arrest. But I didn't do anything. I just happened to be here. Really? Yeah, I certainly didn't set anything on fire. You are holding a lit torch in your hand. Oh, well, it was very dark out here. I guess you're too good to rot in prison. Die, you criminal scum!
A few moments later.
We came at once when we received your summons, Lord Garius. At such distances, I did not realize your aspect could...
Shadows grant many gifts, Torio. But our time is short, and the longer we speak, the higher risk of detection. Torio informed me that you have trouble infiltrating the Black Lake Lorne, so I sent the assistance.
Has she?
As we speak, the Sea Ghost has sailed from the docks of Luskan, carrying allies to our cause.
Allies, my lord?
Yes, of our recent troubles down the west coast.
Not at all. But I had hoped for the chance to see to the matter personally, without...
I only need more time, my lord. I will find a way past Black Lake's walls.
No, Lord. You'll be needed elsewhere to deliver a message to our allies to the east.
I could spare one of the Circle of Blades, my lord. They are eager for work, both in infiltrating Black Lake or sending word to the orcs.
No, Lorne. If the issue at the hand wasn't so severe, I wouldn't need your presence there. Logrum is growing far too arrogant for his own good, and losing him now would put our plans at risk. All I require from you is your presence. Additionally, you'll escort a new batch of shadow priests safely through Old Owl Well. They, like we orcs, require personal touch.
We are sending the shadow priests to Old Owl Well?
As for you, Torio, keep an eye out for Sea Ghost. I'll contact you shortly before its arrival.
With Moira's vendetta against the Watchful filled, we're disappointed to discover that we still won't get our pass into a Black Lake, because we were bargaining with a wrong person. As it turns out, Moira isn't the boss, but rather a lieutenant or someone with far more influence and authority, Axel. And what a surprise! He's already arranged a meeting at his estate in the merchant's quarter. We resupply the tavern, replenish our spells, leave Eleni behind, and onward to the merchant's quarter. Great! I wonder what's different from the last time. Alright then, I guess you really thought the only problem was the number of bodies you threw at me. Second time the charm, eh? By some miraculous chance, a survivor emerges, burned, wounded, yet vengeful, screaming threats and curses, and vowing our inevitable defeat. It wouldn't be unreasonable to expect a third encounter, with students filling half of the street, but the situation got so out of hand that the Archmage of the Academy himself had to step in to restore some order. It's clear he'd be more than happy to handle our sorceress personally for threatening his daughter. Thanks, Quara, for making enemies so quickly. But lucky for us, he has other matters to attend to than to deal with us and our dealings. So he let us go for now. There were a couple of his students are now permanently retired. First bandits, then law enforcement, then druids, wizards. How long until we saw an issue of the dead? But our troubles are only just begun. On our journey to the merchant's quarter, we are stopped by thugs. Twice, who seemed particularly interested in Nishka. In a surprising twist, the Tiffin reveals that she had quite a history with one of Neverwinter criminals, who goes by the name of Lelden. Nishka and her former partner in crime had worked together for quite some time, until, inevitably, he double-crossed her, which ironically did little to stop Nishka from breaking in and emptying a vault in rather bold fashion.
Well, I couldn't just let things stand as they were. I mean, I am the best. Eldon's good, and he gets lucky sometimes, but he can't hold a torch to me. So I broke back into his place, stole all the loot, every last copper, and left a note explaining to him how I got past each one of his traps.
It goes without saying that Lelden isn't looking for a girl to have a drink or two while telling stories of past adventures, which also means he won't get off our tail until he is dealt with, to which Nishka proposed a simple yet risky plan.
There's this coin of his that he thinks is lucky. He always has it with him on jobs. Couldn't stop playing with it. Real annoying. He's probably got it well protected too. So I want to steal it out from under his nose. If I can get my hands on that coin, he might give up. After all, without it, his plans will always fail. At least he thinks so.
The merchant's quarter is a quiet, clean place. However, despite its name, it isn't exactly bustling with merchants. The only notable figures are Pep, the material seller, and a lone kobold named Deacon. You probably don't know him, and you definitely won't understand 90% of what he says, but if I survive the next year or so, I'll tell you more about him when the time is right. Beyond the massive gates lies the estate of our dear friend Axel. Moira is already there, letting us know that Axel is waiting. I have wasted enough time already, so let's talk business.
So now that you are here, perhaps you'd care to tell me who you are.
Moira didn't tell you?
A rogue of talent is always welcome among us. And from what I have heard, You are skilled indeed. I know you seek entrance to Black Lake, where Lord Dalrin was murdered. Yet that does not deter your efforts, despite the potential risk. And as you serve Moya to get entrance into Black Lake, another murder occurs. Lord Brennick. Naturally, I begin to suspect your visit may not be a coincidence.
There was another murder already?
Oh yes, Black Lake is now sealed up tighter than ever, and it has inconvenienced tradesmen such as myself. We suspect a rogue mage of some sort, and despite the credence I give to rumor, I suspect the mention of demons may have some truth to it. But suffice to say, getting into Black Lake is no simple matter, and while it is within our power, it would cost much. So the question is, how much can you offer?
Well, I got a majority of watch on Moira's payroll, dealt with rival gangs and scum, and burned down their base of operations. That should be worth something.
Yes, I'm sure you think you solved our problems at the docks, which is why you're working the streets, and I own them. Burning down the watch headquarters? You think that'll increase profits? If so, you're more of a fool than Moya is.
Who could have guessed that burning down the entire building would have consequences, and a rather dire ones? The watch is no longer playing around and is more determined than ever to root out everyone responsible. And as a main suspect and agitator, I'll be first on the chopping block, unless we get the situation under control. But first things first, we need weapons. Quality weapons. And Axel has them.
The Hounds of the City Watch have been attempting to re-establish their presence in the docks. In particular, their captain, Bralena, is under pressure from the Council. What happens in the alleys of Neverwinter is going to happen no matter what the Watch does to try and crush it. So my preference is we keep it civil. Of course, it helps to get your point across if you carry sharpened steel, and we have a shipment of weapons coming into the docks. But not enough men to make sure it's safe. So I want you to show me what you're made of by making sure that steel gets safely to us, without hounds sniffing us out, with barely a ripple to show where you've been. You're the one I'm picking to make sure it gets where it needs to go. Report to Moya. She'll tell you where you're to meet the shipment and where it needs to go.
And so it's on. Our job is to escort a shipment of weapons through our amply named back alley and deliver it safely to our warehouse. As expected in a den of scum and criminals, we have to fight our way through. What was not expected, however, was that the watch was also there, fully aware of convoy and under orders to stop anyone trying to get through. Moira, you were supposed to keep them in line. Shut up, H-mate. The problem is more complicated than I thought originally. But you ain't gonna boss me around, Axel's lapdog. Just outside the gates, in a corner of the docks, we meet up with Axel's men, tell them we are ready, and prepare for one hell of an escort mission.
Great. It looks like there's always just enough lazy watchmen at the docks to get in our way. What now?
I could always slip past them and set a small fire. Maybe a large one. Trust me, that'll get their attention. Everyone, just stay back here. Time to light a few torches in the wrong places. Fire! Fire! Please, we need help! Fire!
Wouldn't you know it, never a quiet night on the docks. All right, men, move to it, before the whole docks go up in flames.
Alright, I'll the both of you on you.